on Southampton's Voice FM. This is Arts and Culture. My name is Xan, and a very good afternoon to you. And if you would like to enter a world full of thrilling twists and epic turns where the ultimate love letter to horror is imagined live on stage, then the show Ghost Stories is for you. It's one of London's best reviewed plays of all time, keeps you on the edge of your seat, and coming to the Mayflower Theater from June the 24th. Here to tell us more is Eddie Loodmer-Elliott, who
Hello.
plays Mike Priddle. Eddie, how are you?
I'm good. I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks. I will start with a bit of a personal question.
Oh,
Do you frighten easily?
oh, that's a good question. Do you know what? I'd say no. I'd say no, I don't. It takes a bit to make me spook, I think.
And when you saw this show for the first time, I presume you saw it before you started. Did
I
it
saw,
make you jump?
yeah, oh, it did, yeah. I saw it when I was, I'm going to say 18, still at school, in my last year at school, and I went to go see it with a friend, and we were looking to do, I think I was doing theatre studies at school, and they insisted on us going to go see one play that was currently on, and I found Ghost Stories because I thought it would be the most rebellious pick I could make, and it was epic, but it was terrifying. And so when the audition came round, a good, nearly 12 years later, I thought, well, we've got to jump on it. We've got to jump on that audition, and here we are. So yes, I would say I spook pretty hard, but it's sorry hard to make me scared. But I think Ghost Stories did at that time make me jump out of my seat.
Well, that's quite a testament to the show then. So
Oh yeah,
presumably it's because the way it just draws you in and
yeah,
takes you into a completely different world.
yeah. Well, the play is like uh, a love letter almost to those old freak shows and circus. I'm talking like 200 years ago, the old like traveling circus where they were like, come see the Elephant Man or come see the. It's like that kind of really dark. I mean, it's created by the co-writers of the League of Gentlemen, so that gives you an indication of the sort of macabre, abstract world that we sort of get into with ghost stories. And I think it does not disappoint. We've had so many screams. We have like a scream count backstage, where like a little, like a screamometer, like a meter where we judge how well the show is going. Because unlike, well, sorry, a lot like a comedy, you can judge it off the laughs, but with this, you can judge it off the screams that are always followed by laughs because people always laugh after they've screamed. It's like a natural, wow, we've all shared that experience together. And the screamometer has really been going off the Richter recently. It's getting, the further we go, the more scared people seem to be getting, which is great.
But this show has been going for over, I mean, it's got, as you pointed out, it's been for at least 12 years, but you've
Yeah.
been in this show, I think, over at least 120 times.
Yes. Yeah.
So how do you keep it fresh? How do you react? Obviously, you're an actor, but it must be quite tricky to keep it fresh, or not fresh, but your reaction. Wow, I didn't expect that.
I think, yeah, no, I know what you mean. I think uh, that it's actually made really, the cop out answer is to say that I'm a genius actor and I work
Uh,
out how to do it every time. It's not the case. I think, uh, honestly, the show is so atmospheric that my character is haunted, for example. And so I don't need to imagine what I'm haunted by because the show will make me feel haunted naturally because it goes so dark and our sound effects are so scary and loud. And the audience, every time, because I played quite a young sort of teenage boy, well, not teenage boy, but sort of early 20s, um, the audience is sort of very empathetic towards my character and my sort of vulnerability. And so they go with me on this journey every time. And so because they're scared for me, I naturally feel scared. So it's very rare that I do the show and don't sort of feel the right way, if that makes sense, about how I'm being haunted.
that's fascinating. So it's the audience are almost
Oh yeah, yeah.
pushing you along.
Because I'm
Yes.
alone on stage, so it's just so the way the show sort of works is we're in a parapsychological investigation lecture that's thrown by a paranormal investigator who is debunking ghost stories. And he has three that are his stories that he just sort of keeps him up at night, and he always kind of comes back to. And my story, so each story, sorry, is the actor is alone on stage telling their story. And so when you're my character, who's this sort of nervous driver, I'll say, um, getting spooked out when you are in a literal car. We're literally, the effect of the show at West End. It's a West End tour, so like it's like watching the Harry Potter show live. The amount of effects that are in it are crazy. So I'm literally in a literal car that actually has something happen, and the thing actually does happen, and the lighting goes, and the sound goes, and there's smoke, and the audience go crazy. And so what I mean is, it's very easy as an actor to just actually get lulled into what's going on. It doesn't feel very fake.
That sounds brilliant.
Yeah.
That sounds absolutely brilliant. So when you saw this as an 18-year-old, as part of your rebellion, your end of teens acting rebellion,
I sort of was like, I'm not going to go see Shakespeare. I
yes,
want to see something radical, and I chose Ghost Stories.
but presumably you thought to yourself that was the part you're playing is the part that you would want to do.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. That's manifesting, isn't it?
It is manifesting. I know. Do you know what? It's one of those things where I didn't think it would ever come back, because it was on when I was 18. And I thought that show will be done now. Well, by the time I leave drama school, and by the time I'm sort of back in the world of acting as a professional, the industry will have moved past Ghost Stories and move on to the next show. And Andy and Jeremy, who are the writers, will have written their new show and so on. And they have done. That's all happened. But everyone keeps coming back to Ghost Stories. And there have been so many ghosty plays that have, since Ghost Stories come on. We've got 222, a ghost story, which is on. Paranormal Activity, I think, is another one that's coming on. And yet, Ghost Stories is always like a ghost, brought back and resuscitated and put back on, because audiences love it. It was made into a film. I don't know if you've seen the film, but the film's great. And it's literally been on, I think now it's been coming back in some form or another for the last 15 years.
Amazing. So when you were training then, how much is horror part of the curriculum?
As a genre, you mean?
Yes, I mean, because obviously you've got to do some Shakespeare, you've got to do a bit of comedy, you've got to learn, you've got to cry, but how do they actually say, right, we're gonna do a bit of horror today?
No, and I think if you look at it, really, there aren't that many. It's quite a recent genre, to be honest. I mean, I'm trying to think of before The Woman in Black, what was there? And I don't know. I'm sure someone has got a very clever answer for what was on in the West End. But my chronology, you know what I'm trying to say,
yes,
starts with The Woman in Black. I remember watching The Woman in Black when I was also at school. Then I saw Ghost Stories. And then there have been 2 or 3, as I've mentioned, shows that have come out in the West End. But that's it, as far as I'm aware, in terms of the genre. In the West End, I'm talking. At Edinburgh Fringe, which I've been going to for years, I've seen all forms of scary incantations of ghostly stories. I mean, I love it as a genre. But yeah, the point is, in terms of like professional mainstream, as an actor, you can make your career through this medium. It's quite a new genre, I think, to be explored. So no, the drama school did not give me any horror prep because of that.
But I suppose then, if your character is nervous, then that's what you're drawing from your experience. Yeah.
And we're performing to massive crowds, so the nerves instinctively come in whenever you're performing sort of like an excess of 1,000 people. You on your own, you naturally get nervous, and the nerves are great because my character is so nervous. So like it just helps to be as nervous as possible in real life.
Fantastic. It's the only time being on the stage and being nervous is actually very beneficial.
I know, 100%. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. So as far as this show goes and then your future, I mean, you've done over 120 shows. Are you hoping to stick with this as it goes on, or what are you expecting to do?
We've got a West End transfer that's happening in I'm going to say the wrong dates now, that's starting in late September and running all the way through spooky season in October in London, and then concludes in the middle of November. And that's at the Peacock Theater in London. And then after that, who knows? Who knows? By that point, I don't know how many shows I will have done. So I'm not sure. We'll see what happens. But acting wise, other than that, I've got a film coming out in July, which is directed by Johnny Depp, which is a good fun film, which is great.
Yes, I saw that actually. Yes, that was Modì or something, isn't
Yes,
it?
Modì.
Modì, yes. 3 Days on the Wing of Madness. Tell us
Yes.
more.
Oh, well, that's great. I mean, it's a film that one of those times when you look at the actors around you and you sort of go, I have imposter syndrome big time. Because I was in the room filming my scene with Al Pacino, Stephen Graham, and Johnny Depp. And I was kind of going, and it was the four of us in this room, and I was going, I am seriously out of my depth. This is the big leagues. And anyway, we filmed this film. It's a beautiful film. It's about Modigliani, the sculptor and artist, who, like many of the great artists of our time, died before they received any fame or fortune or recognition of their work. And actually, he died because he was so upset that no one was taking his work seriously or
Oh,
took any notice of it, that he ended up sort of having these kind of mad, the modern word would be like a mad rager or a mad bender, where he like hadn't gone to bed and just stayed up drinking for, days and days on end, and then ended up getting bronchitis, I think, and another form of breathing lung issue, and passed away. And so the film is about what happens in his kind of, on one of these, as the title suggests, 72-hour kind of rages. And it's really good fun. It's definitely told with sort of a tongue-in-cheek. Sally Phillips is in it. And we've got, Johnny Depp, and he directed it, and Stephen Graham and Al Pacino and me, which is just hilarious. So, and a lot of other brilliant, I mean, a huge A-list casts that I'm not even giving credit to now. Antonio Desplat's in it, and Ricardo Scamarcio, and lots of great actors.
but I've got a question for you, because what did you notice that was different about them compared to other actors you've been with in your career so far?
Oh, wow. Calm, very calm. They were very, very calm. That's the thing I remember the most. No one was taking themselves in any way that seriously. I mean, in the most brilliant way. It was by far, obviously, the biggest job in terms of the room I was in that I'd ever done. And before shots, I was sort of having a giggle with Stephen Graham, because he sort of wrestles me onto the floor from. We're at a house party at his house, and I'm on a table, and he sort of pulls me off the table. And we were just joking about a lot. It was really, and then it would say action, and I was trying to be, my first day. It was almost like my first day at school. I was like trying to be such a good boy, trying to, get the lines out and do a good job. And I just realized it was all very calm and very fun. And that was the real energy. Yeah, it was great. But yeah.
And did you get your lines out?
I got my lines out. I got my lines out. Yeah. And
Excellent.
I set fire to a painting, which is always good fun to do. And then the film, I've not yet seen the film, but the film has come out, is coming out, sorry, in the UK on July the 11th.
Wow.
International release, I think, of it. Yeah. So that's great. Good fun.
Excellent. So congratulations. I'm so happy for you. That sounds like in a way a dream come true. But I'm sure everyone's wondering, what did Johnny Depp smell like? Because we've seen him
He smelled great.
advertising perfume.
Savage. Oh, Savage.
Yes. What did he smell like?
Do you know what Johnny Depp was so tactile. He was like really. I think he could tell that it was one of my biggest jobs to that point, and so he was super sort of fatherly. He kept giving me hugs during the filming of it, going, well done, great, really nice stuff.
But he gave you good direction, and that's, I mean, we
Oh
all.
yeah, he was amazing. He was amazing.
Mhm.
He smelled nice, and his direction was great.
Fantastic. And Al Pacino, as far as I don't need to know how he smelled, but it was like
I mean, I hardly
did,
saw him. I saw him the least, but he was, extremely lovely and gracious and just what you expect, really. He's also had a
fantastic.
child. He had a child who I think now must be about 1 or 2 years old, I think. But at that time, he had just had his child, is my point. So, yeah, it was great.
Brilliant. Well, Eddie Loodmer-Elliott, you play Mike Priddle in the play Ghost Stories, which is coming to Mayflower Theater from the 24th of June. Thank you very much for talking to us, not only about that, but also about the film Modì, the 3 Days on the Wing of Madness. We wish you the best of luck when that comes out with the
Thank
reviews,
you so much.
and really look forward to you scaring the pants off us when we see you on stage.
Oh, great. Well, thank you very much.
Voice FM.